My name is Dane Froese. I'm the Oilseeds Specialist for Manitoba Agriculture. I'm standing here in the flax plots at CMCDC in Carberry, where Hayder Abbas and team have put together one of 6 sites in Manitoba that is evaluating flax variety testing across the province. So what we've got here is a site that combines both our standard McVet post-variety registration trials combined with the Crop Development Center out of the University of Saskatchewan's breeding program sites. So we have 6 post-registration varieties that are being tested here, as well as 9 new varieties that are being developed and being examined across 6 different growing locations in Manitoba. This is the first year that we've got an integrated flax testing program between Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, where we're looking at these same entries across all 3 prairie provinces. With that program and with funding from the Manitoba Crop Alliance, we've expanded the breeding program from the University of Saskatchewan to look at climatic and geographic adaptability for these other 9 to-be coming flax varieties as they get tested and examined across Manitoba. So the more sites we are able to test for breeding in Manitoba means in future the more varieties and the better data we will have available for farmers to check their varieties for suitability on their own farms. Now, once this crop is harvested, and as you can see we're a few days away from harvest right now, it's looking really good. We expect that this variety data will be published in our Seed Manitoba guide. Looks similar to this. This is last year's edition. Will be published in the McVet Seed Manitoba guide in November 2022. Those breeding lines will then be examined and sent back to the University of Saskatchewan, where they will be selected for suitability, and in future years we will see those same entries in this seed guide. Now, if you're considering growing flax on your farm, a couple things to note. We've had really wet years in 2022, and most notably, and dry years coming off of a drought in 2021. Is flax a good crop to grow in either of those conditions? Yes and no. Flax is a little bit more sensitive to the extremes of moisture than many other crops. Flax does tend to like well-drained soils but adequate moisture. So 2022 has seen really good flax crops as long as they've been planted on soils that are well-drained, fairly loamy, and the roots don't sit in water. So flax does not like wet feet. So if we can get those well-drained conditions, a wet year generally isn't a problem. And then we see fairly good growth, lush growth, and a taller crop canopy. In really dry years like 2021, flax did not perform as well, despite the growing conditions and the fact that it had dry roots at the time. We did tend to see it suffer and yield more dramatically than we would otherwise. So if you're considering growing flax, look for your clean fields, your clean, well-drained fields. That's the absolute first starting point. Then we want to target a fertile soil, not necessarily fertility, but a fertile soil. Flax does not respond well to added synthetic fertilizer, but if you're going with a field that has a high residual soil test, that might be a good fit for flax, as well as making sure that that field is quite clean to start with. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to your local crop agents and crop specialists, agronomists, Manitoba Seed Guide, or myself at Manitoba Agriculture. You can also find the Growing Flax Guide online at flaxcouncil.ca and hyperlinked in many different places across the web. This guide is a wealth of information on flax production, tips and tricks, ins and outs, especially if it's something that flax is a crop you're looking at growing for the first time in a few years.